Okay, all right. It is just about 7 minutes sliding down after 10. That is my time right here on Vybz Radio, and it's a good time to welcome the man who is some more than I think it was 7,200 miles away, I believe. Bishop Nathaniel in New York. How you doing?
Shalom. I'm doing very well. I'm doing very well. I pray all is well with you, your family, and all the listeners in Jamaica.
All right. Yes, sir. We are okay here in Jamaica. We had the general elections here in Jamaica just to fill in you on what is happening in the country. We have a change in the government. The People's National Party, they lost in the general election by the slimmest of margin. We have 63 seats here. The Jamaica Labour Party, they have won 32. And the People's National Party, 31. So they have a one-seat majority. So a new government. So in a little while, Andrew Holness will be sworn in as Jamaica's Prime Minister. So it won't be Portia Simpson Miller anymore.
Oh, I'm so sorry to hear that. Well, hopefully the next Prime Minister of Jamaica will do great things also.
All right, sir. Thank you so very much.
In America, Donald Trump is running for president.
Mm-hmm.
They told him that he got an endorsement by David Duke of the Ku Klux Klan.
Right. I wanted to ask you about that.
Yes, his original response was he had to do research on David Duke and was not familiar with the Ku Klux Klan. Do you hear the buggery?
Mm-hmm.
It's such foolishness.
But what is your take on that, though?
Well, all politicians lie. They're all great manipulators. They're all great liars. Now, you also have Hillary Clinton.
Mm-hmm.
People want Hillary Clinton, correct?
Yes.
They asked Hillary Clinton about reparations for the descendants of the slaves. Her response was, no, that is not necessary. Give them jobs. Clinton is the same one that pushed for reparations to the so-called white man in Israel to get reparations. Hillary Clinton is the same one that pushed for reparations to the Japanese that was in prison for 5 years during World War II.
Yes.
They posed the same question to Bernie Sanders. He also said reparations is not necessary for the descendants of slaves. Give them jobs. He also pushed for reparations for the white man that calls himself Jewish in Israel, as well as the Japanese that was in prison for 5 years during World War II. Do you hear the deceit and hypocrisy, Mr. Hyper?
Why is this so, though, Bishop? Why we've seen other races getting reparation and so on, but not the black race? Why is it so?
It is the same reason they bombed Black Wall Street here in America, in Oklahoma. When they saw the black man able to stand on his own 2 feet, able to guide his family, his community, his nation, and did not need white society, they dropped dynamite on us and killed many of us.
Mm-hmm.
The children of Israel, Mr. Hyper, we pose a threat to the world. This is what most of our people don't realize. We are a threat to the world as the children and people of God. You understand?
Why do you say that? We are a threat to them.
Because when you read Scripture, the Scripture tells you that when Messiah returns, let me read it for you. Let me read it. Isaiah chapter 60 and I'll start at verse 14. I'll read chapter 14. I'll read that. I just want something quick.
Yes.
Isaiah 14, verse 1 to 3. Watch this. For the Lord will have mercy on Jacob and will yet choose Israel and set them in their own land. And the strangers shall be joined with shall possess them in the land of the Lord for servants and handmaids, and they shall take them captives, whose captives they were, and they shall rule over their oppressors. This is why we are in threat. All nations, Mr. Hyper, realize they know by the prophecy. And I'm not talking about the peons. I'm talking about the upper echelon of white society. They realize when the 12 tribes of Israel are gathered together again,
Yes.
they will dominate and rule the world under Jesus Christ, the Black Messiah.
So this what the folks of the upper echelon of society they are doing now. Isn't this a role of Satan or Luciferian activity?
Yes, it is, Mr. Hyper. Yes, it is. Now, they want us to go out and vote. Politics, politics, politics. When you examine history, Mr. Hyper, politics has never helped us here, especially in America. Babylon. Never. Democracy has not helped us, neither has republicanism. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
You read chapter 30 and verse 12. Watch this. It says, wherefore thus saith the Holy One of Israel, because you despise this word and trust in oppression and perverseness and stay thereon. What is the oppression the black man and black woman trust in? Politics and religion. Those are the two greatest tools of oppression. Politics and religion. Those two entities have been tools to oppress us for centuries. You understand what I'm saying?
Yes. So are you saying then that the true Israelites should not enter into representational politics or any form of politics?
We should not. We should do our best to separate and rule ourselves. Like in Jamaica, the majority is of the so-called West Indians, which are the tribe of Benjamin. However, Jamaica is under British rule, if I'm correct.
Yes.
Under British rule, and therefore you have to pay some type of colonial tax in some shape, form, or other. You're still paying your oppressors just for basic things, basic necessities to get by. You don't need Britain. But I guarantee you, if you try to separate from Britain, Britain will do something devastating to the island of Jamaica. Just like in Mali. Remember when Mali separated from the French?
Yes.
Mali and destroyed their hospitals, their libraries, their law enforcement. They decimated Mali over in that west coast of Africa. That's how this man, our friendly neighborhood white man, gets down. That's his love for you and I. He will kill you and destroy you if you don't follow his ways.
And the same is for the religious aspect of it as well. That's what you're saying?
Say it again?
That goes also for the religious aspect of it as well.
Yes. That is the same thing. That's why for centuries, black people here in America were not ever allowed in the Southern Baptist Church. They only recently, within the past 2 years, allowed us in the Southern Baptist Church and the Mormon religion. They just recently started allowing us to attend their services. This is some buggery. This is some evil. But the entire thing, Mr. Hyper, is evil. The entire thing. But you know what, Mr. Hyper? Oppression is good.
Why do you say it is good? It draws you closer to the Most High?
I'm going to read Job 36 and verse 15. This is what God told Job about oppression. He said, Job 36 verse 15, He delivered the poor in his affliction and openeth their ears in oppression. Our people cannot hear the truth unless they are oppressed. You understand?
Yes.
As long as we are doing very well, as long as we are flourishing in white society, we will not hear anything the Almighty has to say. It is until we are oppressed that we start to consider and listen to the word of the Most High.
There's a big news, Bishop. I don't know if you are following this news. A bright African American boy in one of the states in America, and because of his color, he will not be allowed to enter or attend a school. Is it in Minnesota? I don't remember. I saw the news popped up, and I don't have it in front of me right now. I don't know if you have seen that bit of information.
No, I haven't seen that one. I haven't seen that one as yet.
It's making the rounds. It's making the rounds on Yahoo News, and especially in Florida, the Channel 10 out of Florida, and SVN or VSN News. They had this big discussion about this brilliant child, this brilliant African American boy, and there's this school that he wants to attend, and because he's black, he will not be able to attend that school.
Yes, and what just based on that alone, this lets you know, you and I and your listeners know, that America is not a Christian society. Neither are these Caucasians that claim to be Christian. They have always oppressed and hated us from the time of Genesis 25:25, when God told Isaac and Rebekah, 2 nations are in your womb, and 2 nations shall be separated from your bowels. We have denied the truth of the Bible for centuries, Mr. Hyper. And it's little incidents like you're bringing up that makes us look at evil in its face and say, they are Esau, the children of Edom. That is what this white man is. That's what they are.
So what does the Israelites need to do at this time?
We need our own school, Mr. Hyper. We need our own school. That is what we need. Our own school. We need to separate, like the Apostle Paul said in the book of Corinthians, when he said, come out from among them and be ye separate, saith the Lord. This is what we must do.
I know that we have our topic to discuss, but let's just continue to discuss some other issues, and we'll lead straight into should you pay tithing, should you tithe, and so on. There is a new trend now, Bishop, and I'd like your input on this, where we're seeing mainly African American entertainers, the rappers, the singers, and we're talking about males here, and also male athletes, mainly black athletes. Now, they're wearing wigs like women and dressing in dresses.
Yes.
What does this signify?
Get a bit plot. Yes, I want your listeners to listen good to what we are about to read. When we returned from Persian captivity, Cyrus told the Israelites, Nehemiah, Ezra, Zerubbabel, to rebuild the temple of God, because that's what God instructed us to do. When we returned to the land of Sinai, I'm going to shut down a couple of instances today. I'm going to read you. First Ezra, chapter 5, and verse 72 and 73. Listen good. But the heathen, the word heathen is nation, but the heathen of the land, lying heavy upon the inhabitants of Judea, and holding them straight, hindered their building, and by their secret plots and popular persuasions and commotions, they hindered the finishing of the building all the time that King Cyrus lived. What I wanted you to hear is that the nations created secret plots against the Israelites. Created secret plots. What does it have to do with what you said? The athletes, the entertainers wearing female clothing, Mr. Hyper. It is a secret plot to lead us into homosexuality, effeminism, to draw us away from the one true God. You understand? It's a plot, Mr. Hyper. It's not by accident, it is by design.
Oh, I see.
Because athletes and entertainers allegedly or supposedly should be role models. Everyone looks up to them. Everyone looks at them. The white man knows this. So who better to use as a pawn of Satan than your athletes, your entertainers, to lead the bulk of the people down to the road of destruction?
So you're saying with these athletes dressing like female, it's a homosexual agenda? That is what you're saying, Bishop?
Yes, that is exactly what I'm saying. Exactly. Exactly. Now, when you read, listen, watch this, I got another one. In the Apocrypha, there is a sister named Judith, okay? Judith is the female way of saying Judah.
Mm-hmm.
A general named Holophony, and he wanted to destroy the Israelites. But he started to inquire of his army, tell me the history of the Israelites before I go against them to destroy them. And this is what one of his lieutenants said. In the book of Judith, chapter 5, verse 20, this is what he says to the general. Now therefore, my Lord and governor, if there be any error in this people, and they sin against their God, let us consider that this shall be their ruin. And let us go up, and we shall overcome them. But, if there be no iniquity in their nation, let my Lord now pass by, lest their Lord defend them, and their God be for them, and we become a reproach before all the world. This lets us know, Mr. Hyper, that the nations know who the Israelites are, that if the Israelites are keeping God's commandments, God will fight for them. But if you can keep them in sin, the nations will always dominate us, rule us, and oppress us. The white man is very familiar with this.
I've also take keen interest, Bishop, in American politics with all of the candidates or most of the candidates, and I've been doing an extensive research on their background as to their religious affiliation, and I noticed that in recent times, just from before John F. Kennedy down, that's where I started, I realized that most of these presidential candidates and president, they are affiliated to one Christian denomination, and if they are not, most of their advisors are the people that makes up their cabinet and advisors. Like I said before, they are affiliated to one church.
Okay. Well, in the 60s, you had the Kennedy family.
Right.
The Kennedy family were affiliated with the Roman Catholic Church directly.
Mm-hmm. Right.
And they refused to make a pact with the so-called white man in Israel. If you examine, all presidents must go to Israel, to the Wailing Wall, go to the Wailing Wall and daven. Daven means to, not to pray, daven means to thrust your hips, and it is to make a league with Satan. The Kennedys did not do that and were assassinated, okay? John F. Kennedy, Robert F. Kennedy, they were assassinated, okay? After there are many others who were more Protestant leaders.
Yes.
Ronald Reagan was a Protestant. You had Lyndon B. Johnson, Nixon, Protestants, okay? No matter what Christian denomination you point your finger at, all falls under the Catholic Church, all falls under Judaism, which is the people of Israel, the false ones in Israel. They're all connected in some shape, form, or another. It is all a religious plot against the true Israelites, which you and I and your listeners are.
Yes.
They are the true Israelites. Okay? The government that God will establish with Christ, he will have the Israelites be his cabinet. The nations put the 144,000 in. The nations are aware they don't want God's rule upon earth, but they cannot stop this. They cannot stop this. That's why it is paramount for all of us, men and women, to learn God's laws. Because once we learn them, Christ sets us up, we will force all nations to obey God's laws. And whoever refuses God's laws shall die, Mr. Hyper. Like it says in Isaiah 60 and verse 12.
All right, let's take a quick break here, Bishop. Just about 27 minutes after, make it that 28 and a half minutes after 10. Just before we take the break, because we have a little time. What is your take, finally, Bishop, before as we are heading into the commercial break, on Robert Mugabe, the president of Zimbabwe, 72 years old, not 72, 92 years old, I'm sorry, 92 years old, celebrated his birthday recently. This is a man not loved by the West. The British the government, they always have a lot of negative things to say about him, and of course some of their allies. What do you have to say about this leader?
Okay, well, any leader that's for his people and rejects Western ideology is a threat. Okay, like you mentioned, you have many leaders like Aristide, like Gaddafi as well, who love their people and tried to do for their people and rejected Western or Edomite ideology and became an enemy of the state in the media. So they got world opinion against these leaders. Okay? This is America's way. If you reject them, they will do an immediate blast, a blitz on you, humiliate you, embarrass you, and put you as evil before the world. So, I reject all media influence because I know it comes from a twisted slant. You understand? Mm-hmm. I take what the media says with a grain of salt.
All right, sir. Thank you. Let's take the break. When we get back, we're going to continue on our topic. Should you pay tithes in the Christian church or churches? You have to pay tithes, 1/10 of your earning, 1/10 of your pay, 1/10 of your money. If you if you work, it's a 1/10. If you sell a piece of property, you should also pay over 1/10 of that money to the Christian church. We'll pick it up after the commercial break to hear what Bishop Nathaniel has to say on this topic. We started it last week. We are going to go in the latter part of the program when we get back from the break in depth with this topic. Tithing, and so let's go to the commercial break, and our good friend Bishop Nathaniel will be answering all the questions that we will be posing to him right here on Vybz Radio. Let's take the break. Okay, thank you so very much. We're back with you. We have 27 minutes moving up to 11 right here on Vybz Radio, and we say welcome back to Bishop Nathaniel.
Thank you. All praise to the Most High.
All right, last week, Bishop, we started to look at paying tithes. We didn't get too far because we had a lot of questions and so issues that we dealt with leading into the program. So we have just about 25 minutes remaining in the program. So we're going to look at paying tithes. Should... 1/10 of your earnings. It's taught in the Christian churches that you should pay 1/10 of your earning, and it's not just from the job that you do. If you sell, for example, a piece of land, your property, you should also donate 1/10 of the value of the land also to the church. What's your take on it from a biblical perspective?
From a biblical perspective, the law of tithing has always been for the Levitical priesthood, okay, or under the order of Melchizedek, as we know according to Hebrews 7. However, listen to what I'm about to say. You are not commanded to pay 10% of your earnings, which is your money, to white supremacy doctrines. I'm going to say it again. Mm-hmm. You are not committed to pay 10% of your earnings to white supremacy doctrines, namely Christianity.
Yes.
Somebody got
we lost you there for a minute, Bishop.
I said, Christianity is a tool of white supremacy.
Mm-hmm.
You're not to pay tithe to that. That is a system of death and destruction and oppression. There's no law that says pay 10% to the white man's doctrines. All your black leaders in Christianity do not pay tithes to them because they are teaching an ideology of white supremacy.
So did not Abraham paid a tenth of his income as an offering to God?
No, not of his income. It was of his spoils. Of his spoils that he had gotten from a war against 5 kings. Spoils collected. He gave a tenth to Melchizedek, the priest of God, which was a similitude of Christ.
Yes.
Okay. So that has nothing to do with white supremacy. Again, we keep looking